Hello, writers. This is Alicia Rasley from the Plot Blueprint course. We're going to do some 5-minute plotting tips. I hope it's only 5 minutes. So, James is going to start. You had a great idea to increase the drama of a story.
Yes. So, my rule is always make it personal, always keep it personal.
Now, what do you mean by that?
So, what I mean by that is, the events or what things your character has to go through or that they're trying to achieve, make it as personal to them and therefore to your audience as makes sense. So instead of there being some random unnamed character that either needs to be saved or not, instead make it an existing relationship to your character, because that makes it much more dramatic, and you never want your audience to have to work at convincing themselves that what's happening is important.
Yeah, making it personal, the character increases the audience interest, I think. It also makes the character more sympathetic in a way, helps the audience identify. Do we have some examples? I have one, the idea of increasing the stakes for the reader. Famous one, of course, Wizard of Oz. We learn early in the story that Dorothy is kind of rebellious and she's bored with her life in Kansas. But then the tornado comes, and she doesn't just run out into the tornado to have, an exciting time or to have an adventure. Rather, her little dog Toto escapes, and she runs out after him. And so that makes it personal. The reader generally, or viewers, would understand that it's, that she cares about Toto, and that's why she's willing to risk everything. I had, I have an example from my own experience of making it personal, and actually it made the whole story make better sense. I had a book published many years ago where the heroine, Tatiana, was kind of a madcap heiress type of girl, because in the 90s that sort of what a magical or manic pixie girl was really popular, and that's kind of what I made her. And then and it all worked okay. She is at some point has to jump on, it's stupid, but okay, go with it, jump in a hot air balloon and take off with Michael, and see the connection with the Wizard of Oz comes through here, the hot air balloon. But when I rewrote it years later, after because I wanted to publish it for myself, and I realized it just seemed really lame that she would do something so dangerous as jump in this hot air balloon just for fun. And so I realized, make it, like you said, make it personal. So what it is that she sees someone she knows, the captain of the ship she's been on, is in danger, and so she jumps into the hot air balloon to kind of steal it, to get the attention of the police away from her friend. And suddenly, not only was it more personal and the stakes were higher, but also it made her seem, frankly, like less of a ditz and more of a heroine, a real heroine. So those are my examples that, that not only does it increase the stakes and make the reader identify more, but also it kind of energizes the plot. And it kind of forced me to think of this in a way that created greater action and greater motivation. Did you have any other examples?
Yes, and beware minor spoilers for The Last of Us. So
now that's a game.
Yes, and so there's a scene where Joel and Ellie, the two main characters, are hiding out in this sort of safe house area after a bunch of action has just happened, and so they have to wait. Something that lots of teen girls are not very good at, and Ellie is also really bad at it. And so Joel's just lays down and he's going to go to sleep, and Ellie's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And it's like, I don't know, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Just completely dismissing her, and her response is basically, okay, whatever, jerk. Oh yeah, by the way, your watch is broken.
Okay, so she sees something.
This is the same watch that in the prologue his daughter Sarah gave to him for his birthday, making this object very personal to him, But so also we know that he's had this now broken watch for the last 20 years because it's the last thing his daughter ever gave to him. And
that goes with the title too, The Last of Us.
yes. And I mean, but so also just, this is a personal thing to him, but Ellie noticing even just this minor aspect about it, like we could see, oh, she's observant. She's sharper than just some random 14-year-old girl.
Also, it would seem like that her noticing that when probably no one else noticed it connects her symbolically in the reader's or the audience's mind with the lost daughter.
Which is absolutely required for this story to work.
That's something to keep in mind, that make it personal, but you can also take objects and situations that are there in the story and imbue them with emotional significance and personal significance to the main character or to the characters. And that's a way to make everything come together. That here we have a watch, and it connects not only to this child he's with, but the child he lost 20 years earlier. And that's that symbolic significance.
Yes, and so in both of these examples, also, it makes sense. It's mild little things. If you take this too extreme, your audience is like, well, this is a plot hole. Oh, so that's quite the coincidence.
Also, we all went through 11th grade English class where we were supposed to find symbols and everything. You don't want to make it too heavy-handed. But we have to remember, human beings, one of the things human beings do is they take objects and endow them with some kind of significance or importance. And that is one way that we're creative, and that makes things more emotional and dramatic. So that's something that will help energize your story and individualize your characters, is always to make it personal. Any last thoughts?
Nope.
Okay, well, maybe that was a little more than 5 minutes. But anyway, just keep in mind, make it personal, and make the audience care more.